In the crowded landscape of 2D souls-likes, it takes something special to stand out. We have seen the grim religiosity of Blasphemous and the somber solitude of Hollow Knight, but with Crimson Capes, developer Porlock has carved out a new niche, the historical fencing simulator disguised as a dark fantasy RPG. Building on the foundation laid by their previous title, Windmills, Porlock has delivered a sequel that is more ambitious, more beautiful, and significantly more punishing. The immediate draw of Crimson Capes is undoubtedly its presentation. Moving away from traditional sprite work, the developers have utilized rotoscoping to trace live-action footage for character movements. The result is uncannily fluid. When the protagonist swings his massive Montante greatsword, the weight shift and momentum are palpable. The pixel art is elevated by high-contrast lighting and post-processing effects, bathing the hub area of Providence in the warm, melancholic glow of an eternal autumn. However, this dedication to visual fidelity acts as a double-edged sword. The commitment to realistic animation cycles means that every action has significant startup and recovery frames. For players used to the snappy responsiveness of Hollow Knight or Dead Cells, the controls here can feel sluggish or unresponsive, creating a sensation of input lag that is actually deliberate animation priority. This heaviness extends into the core combat loop, which is where the game's philosophy will divide players the most. Crimson Capes treats combat as a puzzle of timing and spacing rather than a test of reflexes. Implementing real-world fencing techniques based on historical manuals, the game demands that you manage momentum, utilizing feints, taunts, and parries to open up defensive enemies. It is a system that rewards patience and mastery, but it punishes experimentation. The difficulty spike in the opening hours is severe, often feeling less like a learning curve and more like a wall. A single misstep usually results in death, and because the game lacks a dedicated jump button for combat acrobatics, you are stripped of the evasion tools standard in the genre. You cannot hop over an enemy sweep, you must parry it or be out of range. For a 2D side-scroller, this grounded reality feels incredibly restrictive, turning traversal into a chore rather than a joy. The narrative and world-building follow the cryptic tradition of the genre, tasking the player with dismantling a conspiracy of wizards in a low-magic, high-danger world. While the atmosphere is thick with dread, the story often takes a back seat to the sheer struggle for survival. The integration of seamless multiplayer, allowing for co-op boss fights and Deathblade invasions, adds a layer of unpredictability, turning PvP encounters into intense, fighting game-style duels. Yet this feature highlights the combat's balance issues. A laggy connection combined with the slow animation speeds can make online interactions frustratingly inconsistent. Crimson Capes is a masterpiece of specific intent, but a flawed gem for the broader market. It is a love letter to historical martial arts wrapped in a stunning dark fantasy package, yet it is held back by its own rigidity. The lack of animation canceling will frustrate players used to faster, more forgiving action games. However, for those who crave a combat experience that respects their intelligence and reflexes, this is a masterpiece. It is a love letter to historical martial arts wrapped in a stunning dark fantasy package. So I will give Crimson Capes a score of 7.5 out of 10. So that is a wrap up our review. Don't forget to check our other indie games review and our indie games top list. Thank you for watching, guys, and see you in the next video.
You